Hey guys, sorry I haven't been uploading videos very much recently. I've just been really apathetic about just about everything lately. I don't have a lot of motivation to do much of anything, and that includes videos and watching anime. But I've recently gotten a little better, I guess. Shut the fuck up, Skype. Holy shit. Anyways, so sorry about that. And so in case you didn't see from my last episode reaction, I have a Twitter now because YouTube made it so it's impossible. A while ago, they made it so it's impossible to post things to your subscribers. So I made a Twitter for communicating with my followers in a certain way. And Twitter sucks. I think it's a shitty website. I think it's really shittily put together and messy and not very well structured. But I don't know, people use it, I guess, for some reason. So I'm going to use it. And I guess keep you guys more updated about what's going on. That's what it's for. But we've got a lot of news to talk about, so we're probably going to get to that right away. Okay, so it's that time where we talk about shitty news. And when I say shit, I really mean shit, because there is nothing to talk about. Well, not really nothing, but hardly anything, right, Michael?
You know, I'm starting to think that you hate me, because you bring me on to talk about the terrible news.
Hey, you showed me some terrible news too, you know. You showed me the worst story that there is to talk about.
Or maybe the best story.
Maybe, I guess, depending on your point of view.
Absolutely.
I'm never going to say best in a non-facetious way about that story, but...
I don't think anybody can with a straight face.
I think some... Some can.
I'm just going to pretend not. I'm going to live in my fantasy land.
Well, the first thing I wanted to talk about was is actually not a anime related story. It's that Hatred video game debacle. So the Hatred video game thing was it's a game. Hatred is a game that was on Steam greenlight, and it was like removed by Gabe Newell himself, and then it was like reinstated with an apology. No, it was removed. I don't know if he was removed by Gabe himself, but it was added back onto Steam Greenlight, and Gabe gave an apology for removing it. But the reason that this whole thing is such a mess is that the game is just like shocking, tasteless violence for the sake of shocking, tasteless violence, and that's it. Like, the whole point is that you're this angst monster that just feels like all people are disgusting or something, and he's like gotta kill everybody in like the most gruesome ways that you can, even though and the whole point is killing innocent people, and it's just innocent people. That's the point, is kill people, just like random civilians on the road that can't defend themselves and stuff. And then one of the YouTubers I've been subscribed to, Alpha Omega Sin, made a video where he defends it and is like, "Well, this has been done before," and that was basically his main defense. It's like it's Mortal Kombat 9, or nobody complains about that shit in Mortal Kombat 9, or well, they did, but people aren't complaining about it anymore, and so. That was his big comparison, was the type of like graphic violence. But the problem with that kind of comparison is that in the Mortal Kombat series, you're fighting big badasses that are trying to kill you as well. You got these graphic brutalities, or fatalities, I mean, that you use to kill the other person that you fight, but they're also just as badass as you, and they're trying to kill you, and so that's where the discrepancy comes in, that the difference in who you're trying to kill in both of those games is totally different. So I don't feel like that comparison is really fair. I know you know some stuff about Mortal Kombat, Michael, so you should know what I'm talking about, with everybody being this huge monster that can also kill you or whatever.
It's really weird, because when you think about the history of video games, violence has always been a big thing at the center. Ever since the first Mortal Kombat, there's been games like Manhunt and Postal, but, those generally were also exchangeable, as in basically, for example, Manhunt, you were a serial killer killing off other prisoners or other psychos. Postal, you could either be good or evil. The game really kind of left it up to you. You didn't have to necessarily do it, but you could. And this is something where it's not really black and white. It basically reminds me of this one obscure game that was created, which was basically the Columbine Simulator, which was supposed to simulate this school massacre that occurred in the U.S. years prior. It just strikes me as something that's made tastelessly without really an objective. Well, can I, not kill? Can I sort of fight against those inner demons in my head? That's whatever's causing me to be psychotic. Can I do anything else, or is it literally just an excuse to kill innocent people? It sounds depraved and just shock and awe to be shock and awe.
Well, that's what the whole point of this game is edginess, and what I define edgy to be is basically juvenile attempts at being mature. Like a bunch of shonen anime out there that people call so mature and edgy or whatever. Edgy is an insult to me anyway, because edgy means that it's juvenile darkness and seriousness and grim dark and whatever. And this is massive amounts of edginess and angst and just taste, and it like you said, it's tasteless. There's no artistic value in that, and that's one of the things that people have been arguing about the game a lot is art. Excuse me.
Delicious.
But this kind of stuff, you can kill innocent people in Grand Theft Auto as well, and I don't like that aspect of those games. But that's not something that you have to do in GTA. They're just there. And in this game, it's even worse in that your goal is to kill innocent people just for the sake of killing them, with the justification that this world shouldn't have people in it anymore. Basically, it's just really stupid as fuck and immature. And,
is Linkin Park going to be doing the soundtrack for it then? Is that what you're saying?
Oh please! Oh fuck! No, don't say that.
No, that's terrible. No, it cuts like a knife. Ooh, it's so edge. You can taste.
Oh, I mean, there's
the blood.
There's just no substance to this at all. It's just just murder people just because your character thinks that they deserve to be murdered. And the difference between these games and GTA is a lot of times in GTA they if you start punching someone, they'll punch you back, and they'll beat you up too, and they can kill you instead. But in this game, there's execution style killings where you put a gun in someone's mouth who's begging for their life, and you still shoot them. There's a huge difference between someone who's fighting like I said in Mortal Kombat, someone who's fighting back against you, and someone who's just helpless and defenseless and begging for their life. That's really different. It's a hugely different experience when it's someone that's begging for their life that you still kill anyways.
It just sort of crosses that moral line where we internally as human beings kind of know, that crosses a line. That's, you don't do that. It's the difference between getting in Saints Row or Grand Theft Auto, where you get on top of a car, you shoot around, the car drives off crazy, and everyone's like, that's funny, that's funny. But, with this, it's ooh, it just kind of makes your skin crawl. Like when you say that, like I'm just like kind of shudder almost.
Exactly.
And I'm pretty desensitized to stuff too.
Exactly. So. It's that skin crawling feeling. That's a good way to describe it. Just ugh, I don't like it. And here's a few comments from that Alpha Mega Sin video that I wanted to share. One of them says, "This isn't fun anymore. This is just bad taste. They said there was no slippery slope, and we were wrong. Fuck what games have become. We take all the negative aspects of humanity, bundle it together, and call it art. And there are too many fucking stupid people who love their precious games and movies too much to dare question the limits that were/are pushed. We have gone from Mortal Kombat to this in 20 years. What's next? Child rape simulator? It's art, right? People have the right to make it, no? This trailer is what sent me to the other side of this argument. We have gone too far." And that's one of the comments that I totally agree with. There are people, I think there's a huge, I've said this numerous times, there's a huge difference between art and art. Art technically can be defined as any form of creative expression, so anything that someone makes can be art, just by the technical definition. But there's a difference between that and like legitimately meritorious art to me. And this is not meritorious art. This is like cashing in on shock value and edginess. And it's like, I don't know how people can defend it. I guess, I don't know, it's kind of debatable whether they should have the right to make this game in the first place. But I feel like regardless of whether they should be allowed to make it or not, if they are allowed to make it, then people should vote with their wallets and tell the creators that this is shit and they shouldn't make garbage like this. Send them a message saying nobody wants this, so don't make it.
No, I completely agree. And I suppose if you want to get on a real philosophical level, generally what sucks, what doesn't suck, what's acceptable, what isn't, that can sort of be interpreted interpersonally in many different manners. Freedom of speech, freedom of expression. But I do personally believe there is a point that goes too far. There is a line that says what sucks and what doesn't suck. And there's only so much of I guess within reason that you can use, like, for example, art. As an example of, this is artistic, It's like, you sure you're not just slapping a label onto that to get away with whatever you want? And that's basically what you said, and that's what I agree with. Like, I can kind of understand the mentality of what they're going for, but I don't agree with the execution of that mentality. I think that the way they're doing it, it comes across incredibly tasteless, Now you play with morality, right and wrong, and you give me multiple objectives I can work with. Well, okay, this could be really interesting in a psychological perspective of the human condition, but, is it going to be that deep? Probably not. It's just going to probably be going around killing innocent people.
Yeah, I like your point of using it's art defense you can use that to basically defend anything you ever make or anything you ever create. Someone could make a movie like saying like Hitler was in the right for committing genocide against the Jews, but then they defend that they can have the right to make it because it's art or some shit. But would you really think that it's art then? Like, would you think that that's an acceptable thing to make? That's not. I don't think that's a valid defense. Oh, and here's
the realm of personal opinion.
But okay, so here's another comment that was on that video that I think I agreed with part of, but then they missed something that okay, let me read this. It's the first time I disagree with you, Alpha. You cannot compare this game to Mortal Kombat. Here, the concept of hatred is inspired from all the shooting that occurred in the U.S., and they can easily write at the beginning of the game, quote, inspired by true events, end quote, if they wanted to. They could make a DLC in which we are a Ku Klux Klan party and we massacre African people, or another in which we are a Nazi and we massacre Jewish people. Oh, I just talked about that. And I guess you'll also say it's just a game and the victims are not direct models of true victims. Yeah, that's one of the things that he said in his video that really annoyed me, defending it in that way. But like hatred does, it makes it really visceral and realistic with people begging for their lives, and the way that all the violence, how graphically realistic the violence is. This concept of hatred as a game has no limits, as I can see. In my language, I've read people who said that they cannot wait to play the game and kill American people in the streets like they saw in the news. Remember, it's called hatred. Also, why not... This guy's apologizes for his bad English at the end of his comment, but also why not making a game in which the only goal is to crash a plane on a building and kill people? It will still work according to you because will not be the World Trade Center. It will just be fiction and not real people. And fuck those who are too sensitive or had lost someone because of that. As I said, it's the first time I disagree with you, and I don't see how this can be entertainment. In your video, it's like you compare a horror film with a story, Mortal Kombat, to a snuff film with no story, hatred. If this can entertain a small group of people, I am really, really glad for them. Violence is not the problem in video games, but the context is. So, Alpha, if someday you'll defend a game in which we massacre black people, Jewish people, crash a plane in the U.S., rape women in the streets, etc. If you'll defend those games, I will respect your opinion because you'll carry your arguments to the limit. Otherwise, this will be double standards and you'll lose all credibility.
Very true.
I really like. I guess this isn't the guy that I partially disagreed with, but because there was nothing that I disagreed with. He's basically part of Alpha's defense of the game is that it's not real. You're not really doing this stuff. It's all virtual people. But there's a lot of people who say like that video games cannot under any circumstance influence people to do bad things. Like they can't cause people to be rotten in any way. And I think that that's bullshit. Especially when they're kids kids are always young and when they're young they're impressionable no matter what. I don't give a shit what you say, what your studies say. When people cite like a study that said like video games don't cause violent tendencies in people, some generic whatever like that doesn't have enough control of variables and things specified. I generally agree that video games can't just straight cause people to do bad things, but these kinds of video games combined with bad parenting definitely can. Someone who's not when the person doesn't have someone there to give them moral guidance and tell them that this is wrong and that you should never ever do anything like this no matter what happens, and even though it's just a game you should never do this kind of things in real life. That's something that's important to know, that there are people out there that are frankly shitty parents who will give this game to their kids because they don't give a shit about what they feed them, and when the kids are young they'll be, like I said, they'll be impressionable, so they can just take it in and think that this is cool, so they might want to do it. And if they get a chance, go shoot up their school, go execute a innocent mom and her kid or something like that, just because it looked fun to do, and hatred. Yeah.
Hatred! Yeah. No, it's a sad but true thing. When I used to work retail, that was a common occurrence. I would sell kids copies of Grand Theft Auto. You wouldn't actually sell them, you have to sell them to the parents, and throughout rule of thumb, you have to tell them the parent about what's in the game. And we'd tell the parent, and usually get into detail, well, there's prostitution, you kill people, there are drugs too, swearing, and we'd tell the parents about it, and they'd be like, what? Oh, then they would want the kid to get the game, but other than that, they don't do any research, they don't care, it just, like you said, they turn off, and they just get the kid whatever they want. And especially, if there's no moral compass in the kid, well, they're just going to go with whatever then, and if they see that as a solution to their problem, they're going to reference it then.
Yeah. So, oh, and also there's the whole thing about like what a possibly this kind of game would be rated. Like if I don't think since this is on Steam Greenlight, I don't think it has to be rated by the ESRB. But if it was, if this game didn't get an adult only rating, then that'd question all integrity of the ESRB, because then what's the point of the ESRB if they give everything above a certain point an M? Like, one thing that I don't like about the ESRB is that they rate, like, you know, the Halo games. My parents I appreciate them for this, but they kind of sheltered me from mature games when I was in my younger teens because they felt that I was too young for them, and I totally am fine with that because I think that that's a perfectly acceptable thing to do. But there was like Halo. That was a game that I played without my parents' consent at my friend's house, and like this game is like not even worse than a rated teen game. I think Halo is just like it's only like slightly worse than what most rated teen games are, because there's like hardly any gore, and there's just like a step. It's like the language is like the only thing that's a step above, I think, from a rated teen game. But then Halo is in the same tier as like Grand Theft Auto, which is far worse in terms of graphic content and adult content that is in the game. And I'm kind of shocked that Grand Theft Auto doesn't even get an adult only rating, but I'm sure that has to do with trying to manipulate the system so that it can sell more. Because let's face it, a game that's rated adult only is not going to sell as well as one that's rated M.
There are some stores that can't even carry adult only games too, which is, like I said, a huge influence on sales.
So it's possible that I don't know how they got away with not getting an adult only rating, but all I can think of is that they were paid that the ESRB was paid off to not give it an adult only rating, because I can't see any, especially with the torture scene in the torture part in GTA 5 that caused a ruckus. You remember that whole deal?
Oh, I do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't see how that kind of stuff is not stuff that I can just say that's like in the 17 plus game that's an adult only thing.
It's a really weird blend of things now. I know Manhunt 2 for a little while was an adult only game, and actually the ESRB sent it back. Rockstar had to cut content in order to make it a mature title. But then you look at something like Wolfenstein: The New Order. You know, it takes on more of an HBO style series where there's sexual intercourse actually happens in the game. And I think there's frontal nudity. I'm not too sure the full extent of what you can see, but it's still only a mature title, where obviously, you know, you think about previous games, they never really went to that extent. It seems like the defining line of it really changes, but within, like you said too, you look at something like Halo, you're like, okay, I can shoot things, and suddenly that's a mature game, but apparently the line for mature games is extremely massive on what qualifies and what doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, like when I was younger, I played games like Metroid Prime, which was a teen game, and in Halo, you're going around shooting a bunch of little aliens and shit, and I didn't see. There was actually probably more gore in Metroid Prime, but none of it was human. It was all aliens, but there was no dialogue, so that's the only thing I can think that made a difference.
Man, I remember being like 7, 8 years old and seeing Mortal Kombat in the arcade. Oh, that was like the coolest thing ever. Oh, so great. Back before the ESRB is. I'm just dating myself here immensely. I'm an old man.
Yeah, I know you're a dinosaur.
Where's McCain?
Oh, fuck. Well, I guess that's enough for that. That's all I want. That's everything I want to say. I guess I said more than I wanted to. But
we got in deep here, you know. That's say, man, deep story. Just diving in.
So the moral of the story is, I think, is that Hatred is a shit game, and I don't think anybody should support it. It's tasteless and disgusting. That's my point. Okay, so now to the actual anime news. So this story is about a fan who learns to love life again thanks to the Idol series Love Live.
What?
Yeah.
What?
So this guy's apparently like was like a druggie, and he drank an alcoholic who was like really down on his life, so he's turning to those substances to dull the pain. But he found and he met his anime waifu Nico Yazawa and her idol friends from the multimedia franchise Love Live, and now he's a man with a different outlook on life, no longer spending his money on expensive liquor and smoking 3 packs of cigarettes a day. He has much more spending cash, which allows him to collect all of his beloved Love Live merchandise, not to mention the added benefits of a healthier lifestyle. So this story is basically sums up to trading one vice for another. To me, I think that anime addictions can be really unhealthy too. But if you're trading in, I guess, substance abuse for anime addiction, I can't really, I guess, criticize it that much, because it's I guess that anime addiction would be not as bad as substance addiction, at least for your physical health anyway. But I mean, if it makes him happier, then I guess that's okay. But still, I don't.
He's got a bottle of Godiva chocolate liqueur in one of those gangsta pictures. Oh man, that is so far from gangster. Sorry. No, I think it's actually really impressive, because I had a friend who quit smoking cold turkey, and if you know anyone who's ever smoked, who's drinking and trying to cut back on that stuff, it's tough to do. And to be able to have the strength to do that, and if he credits the show for doing that, and if it helped him, hey, I think that's great. But anime is by no means a cheap hobby, especially for collecting merchandise and everything else. And
yeah,
especially when
Blu-ray sets in Japan.
Yeah, especially with something like Love Live, which has a ton of merchandise. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that they milk the shit out of that with the merchandise. Holy shit! Not just the Blu-ray, but he's probably got some multiple Dakimakura, and it looks like he's got posters up on the wall. Posters aren't that bad, but probably figures, which are definitely not cheap at all.
No. Jeez. More power to you, dude. More power to you. Now, I look forward to your story of quitting anime then.
I mean, it's just like I said, it's just trading one vice for another. It's like he's got an addiction to substances, and then he trades it for an addiction to another substance in a way. But yeah, it's still not healthy, but I guess it's better by default comparison.
What are we comparing it to? Are we comparing it to something like hug pillows? You know, Dakimakura's?
Oh, I see what you did there. It's a segue.
Oh,
good one.
I aim to please.
All right, you go. It's your turn.
Oh, okay, so this article, it makes me laugh, and all kinds of laughter. So apparently now, the hug pillows, as they're called in English, now they're going to be even more pleasurable with rub-activated talking. Oh man,
just the rub-activated talking tells you everything.
Be still, my beating heart. Oh, but no, it's even better, because there's one of the characters for one of the pillows, Rina Makidoba, or something like. I'm probably butchering it right now. I'm kind of scanning through this. So, anyways, if you massage her breasts, she'll coo and simper with increasingly lovey-dovey messages like, "What if I start loving you even more than I already do?"
Oh my god.
But if you grope her too hard, she'll become angry and respond with messages like, "Hey, that hurts." And of course, my personal favorite, touching her crotch, and she'll say things like, "Not there, but her heart meter will still raise, so you don't feel too bad about it.
Jesus
What?
fucking Christ.
Yeah, that's... Ooh.
This just when you thought that Dakimakura couldn't get any creepier, they come out with this. Like, holy shit. It's fully integrated with the smartphone app, which allow the future download of expansion voice packs. Oh my god.
Dude, no joke. I would be half tempted to get one of these things just as a joke. Give it to one of your friends, just like leave it in their room, and just have like a note on it, like touch me, and just record how they react. Ooh.
Oh my god.
Yes, worth every penny, because it would just be uncomfortable for everyone involved.
This whole thing is uncomfortable, I think. This makes me, like, really disturbed. Like, that combined with the Oculus Rift. That whole VR, whatever shit. Did you see those promo videos where it was, like, actual, like, sex simulator?
Yes. You give man a device, and in return, it will have something to do with pornography and or sex.
Well, it will be turned into that. It will be used for that eventually, but... Oh my god. It's apparently is going to go for about $167 US. Oh my god, this is like the epitome of creep. Like, if you own one of these.
Dude, I know you're still buying one of Kanade.
Oh my god, if they make one of Kanade, I will fucking burn something. I will burn something symbolic to show that I am not a fan. I'm not a fan. Like, this is like, okay, so it's a girl that is not real, and so she can't interact with you, so you can touch her and grope her whenever you want, and she'll respond in sexual ways, so you can fap to her as much as you want.
I love how it encourages to basically molest the pillow, and the pillow won't complain.
It is
just like real life.
It is, yeah, just like real life. Yeah, that's what this exists, though. You can't do that shit in real life.
No, you cannot.
You can't just take an ideal, sexy lady and start touching her wherever the fuck you want, and she's not gonna suddenly be like, "What if I started loving you more?" Like, what the fuck? That's the dumbest bullshit I've ever heard. What if I start loving you more than I already do? She doesn't love you. She's a fucking pillow. This is for lonely people who have nothing better.
Yo, Dracokast, get out of here. How dare you step all over my love with Rena here, okay? I think you need to back up, or else I'm gonna knock you out.
What is your definition of love?
My love is intangible. It's not bound by anything, okay? My love is as vast as the stars and as deep as space.
You mean is about as hot, about
Don't
as big
question
as
my love.
It's about as big as your penis can get when it's erect? Is that what you mean?
Quite possibly.
That's pretty much it. It's like this is just like how you can't say that you love this because it's not a person. There's no interaction. There's no possibility of romantic interaction. You can masturbate. That's the best thing you can get.
Don't tell me what I can and can't do. If I want to do it, I'll do it. I'll find a way. I'm going to make this work, whether you like it or not.
Well, it talks, I guess.
See? Yeah. Boom. What up, son? Bring it on.
With preset statements that you can change.
You know, she's growing. Vocabulary-wise, you know, just give her time. She's, slowly learning our language. That language being only Japanese, but still.
That actually makes me think of how most of these girls are underage. You're like, she's growing, and I'm like, oh my god, that's double meaning. That's it's so true though. These are like usually this girl looks like she's probably 15. Or something. She does,
actually. It's kind of creepy.
Yeah, all these creepy. I don't care how old they look. They're always like really sexual shown in a really sexual way. You can see you can pretty much almost see her crotch because of how short her camisole is.
Easy access, man.
That's
Boom.
well, that's why it's drawn that way,
Oh, yeah.
so it looks hot.
If only I could see up it. Too bad I can't tilt the pillow.
Yeah, I was just waiting for that video that they have there for them to flip it over and show her show the naked side, because
yes.
that always exists. So I'm like, where is it? I'm waiting. It's gonna happen, but it didn't happen. It probably costs too much to make the sensor go on both sides of the pillow, so you can't like touch the same spot on different sides, and it'll do the same thing. But this is just making me disgusted just saying stuff like that. Oh
Man, I know this is your favorite news article. You've been dying to talk about this.
You showed me this right before we started recording.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, you're right. I totally need this in my life.
We all do. Everyone does.
I really actually feel sorry for anybody who does.
Oh, goodness.
Because they need something else.
Attempt to go out and interact with other people. I would recommend that. That would be money better well spent.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And, yeah.